3. Okay, we're gonna start now. Hi everybody, welcome to ragTech. I'm Natasha, a software engineer.
I'm Saloni, a software engineer as well.
And I'm Victoria, a solutions engineer.
And together we are ragTech. So today's episode, we will be talking all about Victoria. We'll be asking her about questions about her work as a solutions engineer, as well as her side gig as a technical blogger, and all the other stuff that Saloni and I have been really wondering about, like despite knowing Victoria for so long. So yeah, that's going to be today's episode. So I'm going to start off first with my question that I've always wanted to ask. It's a bit of a stupid question actually, but what is a solutions engineer?
Yeah, so I knew that you guys are gonna ask this, just like with many people. They also asked me what exactly does a solutions engineer do. So I do have like a copy paste thing. Let me find it.
How many people did you copy paste this to?
A few, about 10 people. So I have like, let me look at the most recent chat.
That's how many people ask her what a solutions
No,
architect
yeah,
is.
because like I know what a solutions architect does. I know what a software engineer does. So I'm always like, is the solutions engineer like the combination of both?
Yeah, so basically a solutions engineer, like TLDR, it's a client-facing engineer. So what we do is we collaborate with our sales colleagues to basically present technical presentations to our clients. And it's basically we're trying to sell our products to them. So for enterprise level kind of products, it's like those stuff that you don't often see, you know, consumer kind of facing products. It's like really B2B.
Oh, just B2B. Right?
Yeah, so usually we need to, you know, provide some presentations, technical solutions, also understanding the client's architect, like technical requirements and like their tech stack and everything. So that's why we would have like meetings to actually get to know like what they want, find out their business needs, and make sure that business needs can kind of fit with the technical requirements.
Right.
So we provide solutions, so we engineer solutions engineer, in order to give them that. So on the other side, we also work internally. So like we also talk to the product team, like in the event our clients give us any feedback on the product, they want things changed, we can, or updated, we can actually communicate that across to our internal teams. Yeah, and finally we also test the product. So like any products in beta or like going to go GA, we're gonna like test it out for the merchants, make sure that everything's
what's
working.
GA again?
General availability.
General availability.
Yeah.
I thought General Assembly.
Yeah, I thought it was General Assembly. Wait, what's general availability? Like,
so basically it's out for the public for like every country. So I work in the payments industry, so you know there's different compliance for different countries, right? So when it's GA, it means like it'll work in general, available across many different countries.
work in general, it's available in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not like just exclusive to some, because we do have some products that are still in beta, and then it wouldn't be like GA, right? Like we would be the one testing, making sure it's ready for our clients to use and actually integrate properly with all their any kind of tech stack. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you like come up with demos for them to show that it does work in a much smaller scale of your product, so it will work for yours?
Yeah,
something
so
like that?
usually different merchants, we call them merchants, our clients. So different merchants would request demos sometimes, and we would actually present a technical demonstration for them. So technical demo, we would also provide technical workshops. So for like C-level executives, sometimes the CFO will be there, CTO will be there, and they want to know exactly the end-to-end process of the integration and how the product will look like on their website. So then we can provide mock-ups, or if they want like something really like real, we will even code them demos. So but we are not software engineers, so that's something that I need to always mention to them. We don't code for them. So some of them will like ask us, you know, come and code for me, like you know, since you know the product so well, right? I will say, no, we cannot do that. That's against our policy. We can only show you a very simplified demo, like this is what it might look like, but it won't be like actually they can copy and paste our code.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, I also remember you saying that you built internal tools for your organization other than like your, your more client-facing like products.
Yeah, so the internal tools things, usually as an engineer ourselves, we like to kind of automate things, right? We kind of like to make things work more efficiently. So if there's like a gap that we see that can automate those processes or things that we think would be convenient for our team or our sales colleagues, then we would actually build internal tools. So I have built an internal tool with my coworkers, and we actually together built this playground so people can test all across like different platforms, all our different products at once. So we just have like a playground that can configure all those kind of different settings, like the buyer country or the amount and all that, very easily through our all-in-one demo that we make like a playground. Yeah.
Do you want to explain what an internal tool is in case like there are some people who don't really know the reference to it?
So an internal tool, basically, as it sounds like, it's a tool that's used internally by our team. So basically our team actually use all our playground that we built internally. So we are not going to share that with the merchant. We're not going to share them the code to our merchant. It's only to be used within our company, and we're not supposed to even share it for the public. So it's something that we ourselves are making it to make our lives better, basically, internally. So it actually helped to simplify the processes and automate certain tasks. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Do you have a different definition of
No,
That's my
basically
understanding.
the same, yeah. But I do understand that there might be like some non-technical friends who might be asking what an internal tool is, because like I think a lot of people don't really have an understanding that developers themselves, like engineers themselves, need to use like other applications and tools to help their process flow. Even like the idea of developer experience, like I know a lot of developers themselves don't know that term. So yeah, I just wanted to like understand from your perspective, does the term internal tool like kind of like is it the same? And I guess it's basically the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
I was interested in, like, as a solutions engineer, what would be some kinds of KPI that you'll have to meet?
So actually our KPI is to enable sales growth. So like again, we work really closely with our sales team. So whenever our sales have a lead, right, like we would have to follow up with them, and we have to make sure that the integration process is all smooth and good so that they can reach their target. So all sales have the sales target, right, and we want to help them do it. So we have that as our KPI, basically. I would say it kind of vary across companies probably, but at least for my company it's more about that.
You get
enabling the sales.
Do you get commission based on you? No.
I'm an engineer, unfortunately. I'm not sales, so no commission.
Important question. Like it's always about
but well, yeah. In a way, I still like how the job is like. It's not super techy. It's like quite like you can communicate across different teams, so you get like a lot of like exposure how things work around the company, how the company actually generates revenue, and all that sorts of things. Because I think if we're just software engineer, like then sometimes you don't know who is the end customer, whereas as a solutions engineer, what I like about it is client facing, so you get to hear directly what the client has to say about the product, and that's why part of our scope is to deliver product feedback to the product team.
Did you ever consider like a fully technical role instead of like a solutions engineer, maybe a full-on like software engineer? Like was that something you were considering?
Yeah, actually when I was not having this job, I was like just doing blogging on the side. I was applying to different companies to be a software engineer because that was my initial goal, since I didn't really know like what kind of career path can I do as I pivoted into tech. I thought software engineer is the only role that I can do if I pivot into tech. So I applied to be a software engineer, but actually I got the offer to be a solutions engineer because my company saw my blog and they say like, wow, you're really good at communication as well as the technical part, so you're the best of both worlds, so might as well say like do solutions engineer, right?
That, and every time you tell us that, I find it so amazing that it's something you were doing in your free time on the side, and that was recognized as a skill by a company, and then you were hired for that skill plus tech skills, communication. That's so amazing.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
the
actually,
side
I find
project
that
kind of.
That's why I actually find that quite surreal, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think everything has a chain effect. It's like sometimes you just do it for the passion, and naturally people will look for you. Like once you do it consistent
exactly.
enough. Yeah. So
It means that you did it that well as well. So
I hope so.
interrupted.
Girl, you're a GitHub Star, okay? So like,
I think I
you
just
definitely did it well.
improve over time, right? Like it's something that when I first started doing it, I remember publishing my first article. Right, it took me a month to publish it because I wrote it in 3 days. But then I was thinking like, oh, this is not good enough, so I just keep revising and revising it. But then after I publish it, after a month, I realized that it's just for myself, right? Like I didn't think anyone would read it but me. Like I was my own first audience. So
Oh, I like that.
yeah, so I wrote it for myself, but then slowly more people find it valuable and all that. And that's how I become consistent.
I actually remember you saying that your journey into technical blogging was actually you were trying to learn how to like code because you basically had sort of a mid-career switch. Do you want to kind of talk through that process about how you
Sure.
kinda
So
started?
I remember it was like during the COVID period, right? Like we're all kind of stuck at home, and I was thinking like, okay, what can I do? Like I always love to code. Like I think I mentioned it in the first episode. Like it first started with game development, like in Visual Basic, and I know, and that was like back when I was like still in high school, right? But then I took a degree in commerce. So during my whole undergraduate program, I was like actually just coding on the side, just making games as a hobby. And then during COVID hits, that's when I have time for self-reflection. That was when I realized that I don't really want to go into business or finance. Yeah, like I prefer going to build things. Like I like to solve problems, build things. And so I decided to learn web development, JavaScript. And that's how I started like my journey to technical blogging, because I thought that I need like some kind of log to like record my learnings.
Yeah, keep yourself accountable, right?
Right. Yeah. So I did the 100 days of code challenge.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
How was that?
Whoa. So I wrote like an article every day for 100 days, right? Like summarizing what I've learned and all that.
What did you code every day?
So every day I'll build little projects. So like first a to-do list, of course. And then second, Chrome extensions, and then slowly
in one day or
across a few days. Yeah, and I'll log what I learned. I'll log the challenges I ran into and how I overcome them. So that also helps me kind of like reflect on my debugging skills. And then slowly, I also attended hackathons. So that's how I also like collaborate with people, right? Then I also log like, day 25, I actually went into this hackathon and we built together like a geo-navigational app, and all that. So slowly, like the projects get more and more complex, and I built like a chat like app and all that with like full stack database like that. So as it gets more and more complicated, I realized that hey, I can actually start teaching people, like how to build these more complicated projects. So then I started with like my very first like series that I wrote in my blog, which is like my Node.js series, and until now people still like read it. Wow.
Right.
Yeah, so that one I actually published the article every day, like for 7 days. I published like it's a whole series. Yeah, and then after that it just snowballed from there. Like my writing just took off. Like everyone was like saying like this is very helpful, like they find a lot of value from it, which also makes me proud because I actually learned through their comments, their feedback as well. So it makes me a better writer and a better writing communicator overall. Yeah, so I think the journey overall has been it has been quite good.
Yeah. No, I mean, like when we first met, I was really like inspired by your technical blogging journey, and I wanted to start my own. So I was asking you for a lot of advice. That was how I started. The thing is, like, I would start on it, and then it was like a whole year, and I never completed even one article. I had like a whole idea for a series, to talk about mono repositories, blah blah blah. But I just couldn't even have like the discipline to like post it like on a day-on-day basis. And here you are, you started out, posted your first article, and then you started out with your Node.js series, and you were publishing like 7 day-on-day. Like that really takes discipline and dedication.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember when you first joined the WomenWhoCode group, even I was inspired by you. I actually then did post an article.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, I did post for quite a bit while you were still active, and then I also stopped after a while. It does take a lot of effort to write, but it's really useful, like the reflection bit. I would write about lead code questions I would solve, and I'll try to explain how I came to the solution and things around it.
I did have a lead code series at one point as well. But then I realized that I prefer letting people kind of formulate their own solutions, because I stopped after 5 articles of those lead code series. Because I think a lot of people would think this is the one way, like this is just one way of solving it. But I want to encourage people to think like more differently, right? Like there's many solutions to one problem. So that's why in a way I kind of stopped. But that's actually a good start, right? Because that's easy to pick up and easy to write about.
I'm very money oriented, so I actually post on Medium, and that earns money as well.
Medium earns you money?
Medium,
the partner program.
I mean, I don't know. I can't even publish my first article. So
it's a few cents per article per month, but it's still something.
That's really
you
not
can get up to $1
There's
every
also
month.
a referral program. So
So Saloni, you can refer me.
I can refer you, and I get some money as well.
Do I need to post to get money?
Yes.
Well,
that's a motivation right there.
I will sit on it for another year. But no, it's such a good idea. I really like how you started posting about lead code, and here you are with the alternative viewpoint that you started talking more about lead code, but kind of stopped after a while when you realized like you want to give people the space to be creative. Also, just to define what lead code is for like people who don't know what lead code is, it's a series of coding questions that you usually get during an interview. These are not your typical like build an app questions, but kind of like things that test data structures, algorithms. Basically think of like calculus, but like in one coding question. And usually like is that a good description? It's
a new description, but
but it's like more like specific to coding and data structures and algorithms, and usually people practice for like 3 months to 8 months just to prepare for these technical interviews. I think it's really interesting because a lot about like being tested on lead code is really hearing your thought process. So I like that, when you started blogging about it, you're like, maybe I'm kind of like, introducing some kind of bias in that thought process. Probably that's why you didn't really code about it. Would that be
exactly,
right?
I feel like that would kind of like indicate to people that there's only one way to explain things, and there's only one way to solve the problems, which I don't want people to think about, right? Like, or there's already cracking the coding interview book, like which people kind of like just
read like a Bible.
Exactly. So I don't want to be another source of that, basically.
Totally.
So that's how I kind of do.
I have a question. Do you earn money from your blogs?
Yes. Actually I do. So
how does it work?
I have various channels of like how I earn from blogging. So the first one is Medium. So like you said, I actually syndicate my articles. So first I would publish on my own personal blog. Then after that I would syndicate to other different channels like Medium, Dev2, Hacker Noon, like all those places. And then after that I would get, like from Medium I will get some kind of money from that. And then I also get sponsored articles. So a few companies reach out to me, and then they would pay me to write them articles. And usually at the end, if it's a sponsored article, I'll like indicate it's a sponsored article, unless they explicitly state me not to mention it. So I also get a lot from sponsored articles. And then next I also get a lot from sponsors. So Hashnote, which is the blogging platform I blog at, they actually have like a sponsor program. So you can actually donate to like your favorite authors and all that. So
I remember seeing it on your thing. It's like give me tea or something like that.
Oh yes.
That one is my own. It's like buy me cup of tea. Like buy me coffee, but I prefer tea, so I'm like buy me tea. But Hashnote has their own now. So it's like on Hashnote. It's called Hashnote Sponsors. So I'm not trying to be biased. My blogging platform, I remember I should put a disclaimer here. But it's just the first blogging platform I use, so that's why I've been using it. And they have this sponsorship program, so that's how some people like kindly donate to me and kindly sponsor. Which is super nice. So that's how I kind of earn for my blog.
And I mean Hashnote is also the platform that you use to publish our blogs. for ragTech. So basically, like you're writing the summary of like the episodes in case like people don't have time to watch it or want to read the summary before watching it. So you're using Hashnote as well for that, right?
Yeah, because Hashnote, they also support team blogs. So like it's not just me who can write for our ragTech blog. You guys also can write. So trying to make it a team blog, right? So it's not just me that's writing. Yeah, so I think that's one of the beauty of Hashnote, because for Medium, there's not really a team blog. There's only like a publication, they call it, and it's kind of hard to. I would say it's okay, but it's kind of hard to like really get credit for like your work, like if you publish under Medium. So I'll say Hashnote is way much easier, and also the audience for Hashnote are all like really into tech. So I think that's a more niche blogging platform that would target the right people.
More specialized blogging to tech. Got it.
Yeah.
So I had a question which was like, so you have a 9 to 5 and you have a 5 to 9. 9 to 5, basically your job as a solutions engineer. 5 to 9, your job as a technical blogger. How does your day usually look? How do you like juggle?
Yeah, I think a lot of people ask me this as well. I think the 9 to 5 is simple, right? You just focus on that one thing from 9 to 5. So there's not much juggling there. Like it's already pretty like a set kind of
like time blocking.
Yeah, so 9 to 5, I'll just focus on work. 5 to 9, that part would take some discipline, I would say. So back when I was publishing once a week, so very frequently, I would literally write every time after work. So I would like, after dinner, after social events or something, I'll go back home, I'll block a time to write for 2 hours. And then I'll continuously write, and I would have so many backlog of published articles to be published by that time. Like I will keep 8 to 10 articles to be published.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's good backlog. yeah. We're trying to figure out a backlog for this. So
exactly. Yeah. So I think backlogs are important, right?
Yeah.
So in the event like you get sick or something, you can still have something to publish. So I usually keep 8 to 10 articles as a backlog, and I would make sure I write at least one sentence every single day. Like that's like a promise I make to myself. Of course, as things get busier, and now I'm juggling between Women Who Code, this, as well as blogging, like it's not as straightforward as like I just sit down and type, especially now I only have 9 fingers. Like,
wait, what happened?
Oh, I cut this morning, and I don't know why.
Why did so many things happen to you this morning? You got allergies and you got your finger.
I know. So like I woke up this morning and then it was bleeding, and I was like, oh
what, just randomly?
Yeah, I think it was too dry or something. So it was bleeding, and I'm like, oh dang, I cannot write. So I'm like,
you gotta call in sick at work. My finger got cut. I just woke up and it was like this.
Yeah. So yeah, with 9 fingers, not as fast. But yeah, I try to at least keep my blog alive a little bit. Like right now, I'm not blogging as frequently as before, but it's okay because I know I'm focusing on like other different mediums, and it's fine to actually like expand and do this with you guys.
Yeah, the
and
podcast
all that.
itself.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Yeah.
I also want to like understand your journey from, you mentioned you studied commerce in university, and you always wanted to be in tech or not? Like you mentioned high school you were coding, game development, but you still took on commerce. Why not computer science or like an IT degree?
I think I mentioned this in other podcasts that I've been to before, but my parents are quite traditional, so they think coding, computer science is mainly guy thing, right? They don't think it's really for girls, and so they just encourage me to go into finance, commerce. And at the time, I don't really see myself to be a game developer just because it's like really stressful industry, and like there's so many men, like it's male dominated. So I'm a bit intimidated by that, and I thought, this can just stay as a hobby. Like I never known like I would be in tech as like a career, because I thought I'll just be in commerce. I'll just hang out there. See what my options are, as my parents suggested, because I value their opinion. So that's how I got into finance commerce, and I did enjoy it for 4 years. But at some point, I do realize that my passion is in building and learning a lot of things. And I feel like in the business world, the learning is not like how in tech. Tech is always growing, it's always shifting, it's always changing. and I just find that exciting, just because as a Ravenclaw and as a Type 5. I just want to continuously learn.
Podcast on that, but sorry.
Yeah. Separate podcast of like being a Ravenclaw and
I just like the feeling of like continuous learning. So that's why I like the feeling also of problem solving and actually using code to solve problem. I think that's also really cool, right? And at this point, I want to make a statement is that anyone in this era right now should at least know a little bit how to code. Like should know at least a little bit how to read code. Yeah. Because I do find like at least working with my sales colleagues, those who can read code are like so much like more valuable because they can actually understand what's going on, like even during technical presentations and all that. Those who can understand and at least listen what is an API, what is like HTML. Like those who know can actually get in there. And it's an advantage, basically.
For sure. Yeah.
So I would argue that it's a good thing that I study how to code. Like in a way, at the time, I just study how to code because I think it's really fun to build things, like build games and then build websites after that. So I think at this point, everyone should also, it's just my opinion, but everyone should also at least know how to read.
I definitely agree with that as well. That having like the tech edge does give you an advantage, especially in the tech industry, and almost all fields right now are involved in tech in some way or the other. So understanding basic things like API, servers, databases, not necessarily reading code, but understanding the systems around it does help a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I think even in any industry you're in, like IT is a business function now. It's no longer like an industry on its own. Every single business needs will have to thrive in some sort of IT infrastructure. We'll have to have some sort of database to store that data. We'll have some sort of like front-end application that people would have to use. So it's kind of like inevitable to kind of avoid tech in general. We're not saying that everybody has to be a master coder, but really seeing like programming and coding as a universal skill. And I think that's what the universities these days are kind of like doing right now. It's basically a module that everybody has to go through. I don't know if like computer science as a class itself is like a what do you call that, general elective or like necessary elective class?
I don't think so.
No? Okay, I don't know if it is now, but I think like some way or another, some kind of analytics class or like everybody that I know now definitely knows a bit of Python, definitely knows, okay, maybe not so much JavaScript, but some kind of has done C#, C++ in one kind of like module. So I do think it's becoming quite like
even in my
universal.
commerce classes back then, my commerce class, I was taking database management and you have to learn SQL.
DBMS, what? What kind of commerce class is that? Like
it's like for infrastructure, understanding. See, that's why I say even in commerce is very important, right? Because you need to know like how to organize your database.
I took like a database management class in my master's course, and you're doing it in like a commerce undergrad. Dang.
So we had to learn SQL for that. We even have like an SQL competition. She would give like a scenario and say, okay, now type the SQL in it, and then we would like type really fast. Submit.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty intense.
Yeah, my team won, by the way. The SQL competition.
Oh, okay. Yeah, weird flex, but okay.
Because I was proud, because at the time all I know was C# because of my Unity game development, but then I knew SQL now, so I feel proud.
It gave you like an even more edge.
You have ORMs, but anyways.
So it's pretty nice.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, that's really like an interesting take on like looking at coding as a universal skill. And also thank you so much for like talking us through what a solutions engineer is, your journey in technical blogging, which is closely related to how you got into programming in the first place. And in general, thanks for entertaining like Saloni and my questions that we don't really ask on an everyday, but now we know more about Victoria.
Thanks for asking me the question.
Thanks for preparing. Like literally, I thought it was funny that when we asked about solutions engineering, and then you're like, I have a list, girls.
I always have.
I have a standard answer that I send every single person who ever asked me this question.
I don't have that in my notes.
Because definitely people always ask, right? So this is like my way of basically answering the question.
She's a blogger, that's why she got everything prepared, and both of us are just like What's
Yep.
software engineering?
And I'm sure our audience would have some questions for you as well after listening to this podcast. So do comment on YouTube below. Is that the only place they can comment? I guess also on our blog.
Yeah, our blog, on like YouTube, on like
Instagram.
Spotify, you can like leave comments as well. if I'm
Yes,
not wrong.
but only for mobile.
Only for mobile. Okay, you guys heard that. And then Instagram. Everything
Yeah.
is like out there. Anyone will do. We
Yes.
will respond to them for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, we're still figuring all of these things out, but
Yeah.
yes, we would love your comments so we can improve on future episodes. So yeah, okay, I think that marks the end of this episode. Thank you so much, Victoria, for answering our questions again. Once again, we are ragTech. Thank you for tuning in to our second episode, and we look forward to seeing you guys for the next.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you
Yay,
everyone.
we did it, guys!